Rich Dad, Poor Dad Learn English Through Story Financial Freedom. Secret Sigh was only 9 years old the first time I heard the words, "The rich don't work for money." I remember staring at Mr. Mike, my best friend's father, with wide, confused eyes. How could that be true? My dad worked hard every day, sometimes 12 hours straight, and still, we struggled. But Mr. Mike, who wore simple clothes and drove an old pickup, seemed free. He smiled often, laughed freely, and talked about assets and passive income like it was a game. That day marked the beginning of a journey that changed my life forever. I was raised in Hawaii, in a small home where every dollar mattered. My real father, whom I called my poor dad, was a highly educated man-a school teacher with a PhD. He believed in the traditional path: go to school, get good grades, get a stable job, and work hard until retirement. He was intelligent, disciplined, and honest, but he always struggled financially. No matter how many promotions he received or how many degrees he earned, money seemed to control him. Mike's father, on the other hand, my rich dad, never finished high school. Yet he owned multiple businesses, invested in real estate, and always seemed to have control over his time and choices. He didn't believe in working for money. Instead, he taught us how to make money work for us. He spoke of financial freedom, the way a preacher speaks of salvation with passion, clarity, and conviction. One Saturday morning, while my poor dad was at work grading papers, Mike and I sat at Rich Dad's office. "If you want to be rich," Rich Dad said, looking at us seriously, "you must learn how money works. They don't teach this in school. School teaches you to be an employee. I'll teach you to be an owner." At first, I didn't fully understand, but I was eager, hungry even. Every week, we returned to his office. We swept floors, cleaned shelves, and worked small jobs not for a wage, but for lessons. It was confusing and frustrating. Once, after hours of cleaning, I asked why we weren't being paid. Rich Dad smiled. "Most people sell their time for money, but the rich, they buy time. If I paid you now, you'd learn to expect a paycheck. But I want you to learn something more powerful: how to create value." Those words hit me like a thunderclap. Create value. I began to see the world differently. I started watching how people spent money. I noticed how businesses made profit. I asked questions. I read books. And most importantly, I listened. Over the years, I witnessed the contrast between my two dads. Poor Dad urged me to study harder, to become a government employee. Security, he said. Benefits. But I saw how hard he worked and how little he saved. He was always worried about bills, loans, retirement. Rich Dad, however, spoke of assets, properties, stocks, intellectual property. "If your money isn't working while you sleep," he told me once, "you'll be working until you die." I remember one difficult evening when my real dad lost his job. He came home quiet, defeated. That night, I saw tears in his eyes. I'd never seen him cry before. He had followed all the rules, done everything right, yet the system had failed him. My heart broke for him. I loved him deeply. But I also realized something painful. Good intentions don't guarantee financial freedom. Knowledge does. Courage does. Action does. Years later, after studying, investing, and starting my own businesses, I finally bought my first property. It was small, nothing glamorous, but the rent covered the mortgage, and for the first time, I earned money without working for it. I called Rich Dad that day. "I did it," I said. "The property is paying me." He laughed proudly. "Oh, you understand?" But I also went to see my poor dad. I sat beside him and said, "You gave me love, discipline, and integrity. That foundation helped me build everything else." He smiled, tears again in his eyes, but this time not of sadness, but pride. This story isn't about choosing one father over the other. It's about learning from both. My poor dad taught me values. My rich dad taught me vision. Together, their voices shaped who I became. So if you're watching this, stuck in a job you hate, or drowning in debt, know this: you don't have to stay there. Financial freedom isn't just for the lucky. It's for the brave, for those willing to learn, to risk, to fail, and to rise again. Start now. Read, ask, observe. Invest in your mind before your wallet. And remember the words that changed everything for me. The rich don't work for money. They make money work for them. Your journey to freedom doesn't start with a paycheck. It starts with a decision. Make that decision today.